Where do you see the American gem cutting, colored stone cutting trade? Where do you see that going? Do you have any predictions or ideas about trends or the future?
I think probably it's going to keep expanding, and it almost has to because technology is getting better and better all the time. Um, if if you don't keep up with technology and keep changing, you kind of get stuck in your own little rut. Uh, the longer you stay in that rut, the harder it is to break out of it. Uh, I think just like the appraisal business, it's going to keep getting better and better. Uh, there's there's a I think there's a, a growing trend towards uh, more independence. There's still the large cutting factories that do the commercial stuff. I think there's an ever increasing market for the independents, the the little cutters to reach out and show that there's still skill and expertise and ideas out there that the main jewelry industry doesn't touch on. Uh, the craftsmanship is still there if you're willing to invest and take the time to do it. I think it's going to keep getting better and better, but the bad thing I think about it, just like the appraisal industry, is that technology is coming along to where one day me as a person might not be required to sit there and make a judgment call anymore. There's going to be machines that will do it and do it as good or better than maybe I could do it. I think that would be the bad point, is that machines will come along. They have computerized machines now that will do most of your cutting, will cut diamonds. As technology gets better and better, and the technology gets cheaper and cheaper, it's going to become more prevalent, and at least in diamonds, it's going to be more consistent, more calibrated sizes, more better cuts. These native cuts are going to go eventually by the wayside to where you won't see much of them anymore. Frankly, I'm glad I'm at the tail end of my career because of what technology is doing, not only in in the grading techniques, the color grading and the other stuff, but also in the cost of equipment. But along with that, there's also the increase in the quality of synthetics that are coming into the industry. And it's getting harder and harder to tell whether they are or aren't unless you spend thousands of dollars for the equipment to determine.
What do you think about the colored stone market and where that's going? I mean, historically it's been up and down, but historically it's been up over time. Do you think we're going to see an expansion and more awareness of colored stones in America, in particular in America? Or it seems to me that colored stones in other parts of the world are a little more recognized and more appreciated maybe than they are in America. Do you think we're going to remedy that? We're going to see a trend over time toward more recognition and understanding of colored stones?
Yeah, I think there's a possibility with an article I just read that the De Beers and some others are leaning towards more stringent guidelines on blood diamonds or bloodstones. I think you know my feeling on that. That there's always been bloodshed connected with diamonds as far back as you can go, 2,500 years ago in India when it was the major cutting center in the world. But virtually every colored stone out there has bloodshed connected to it.
Any place you concentrate value?
Yes, yes.
Right? Paper money.
Mm-hmm. The colored stone industry, the mining processes around the world is much more volatile than the mining processes for diamonds. Typically it's in war-torn, starving, poor countries where the poor people are the ones that suffer in the mining and the recovering it. And the only ones that make a profit off it are the dealers as the end result before it gets to the cutters or the cutting factories. That's always going to be the case. That's never going to go away. Tanzanite from Tanzania is up and down in the market because political strife and war and everything else that's going on in the country. They're mining today, and next day they're not mining. The floods and the working conditions that they've had, although the rumors or the word that's trying to be spread is that we're going to run out of Tanzanite. We're going to it's drying up. We need to get it now.
Jewelry television.
Yeah, that goes. They know there's Tanzanite deposits that run up to 20 meters deep, and they've only been mining 3, 4, 5 meters deep, and that's only in one country. They haven't found it in another. But how many stones can you name that have only been found in one country only? Eventually, they're going to find some someplace else, just like
Demantoid garnet.
Alexandrite, to name some others. They found deposits in other countries that
Right.
It takes a while, but they're there. They'll find them eventually. And there's going to be an everlasting supply of it. It just depends on how much people are going to suffer in the mining of it, and how long it's going to take to get to market. Is it all fact, or is it contrived to raise the market, to lower the market?
It's probably a question of how much is it contrived.
Yes.
Degrees.
Yes, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
It's a process that's never going to change. It's been that way for 2,500 years or longer, and it's not going to change. There's going to be supplies. They're going to keep finding it, and it just the thing that I don't like is the poor people that wind up suffering or just trying to make a living, and it's just a handful of people that are making any real money off of it.
Right.
That's the bad part. But
That's going to be difficult. That's
human nature worldwide, and you're not going to change it.
Right.
You could boycott it, but are you going to make any difference? No.
No.
So I think it's just going to keep getting better and better, actually.
I like that you're very optimistic about the colored stone market, the marketplace, the appreciation of colored stones, and in addition to that, that you see a lot of the cutting going to, there's a lot of room in that marketplace for small cutters, individual cutters, craftsmen, innovators, and builders of new optics and new technology and new ways of presenting the colored stones. To be very optimistic about those things, that's a generation's worth of optimism into the future, I think.
John, I've always been amazed. I can say I've spent 30 years in the industry, and made a living at it. Actually, the last few years I've made a pretty good living at it, in something that is an absolute non-essential to anybody's way of life. Every bit of it is a feel-good purchase, but we all need that.
Right.
So is it ever going to go away? No. We all need that, and we're going to continue to need it. I hear people all the time say that, oh, the craftsmanship and the technology is just not there like it was 50 years ago. Well, Tweety, it is there. Most of the problem is that people don't want to spend the money to get the quality craftsmanship that's available today, and actually better than the filigree mountings that were hand cut 50 years ago, 75 years ago. The platinum hand cut ones. Jeff Yoshida, the master goldsmith that I worked with for several years, I'd get an old antique filigree mounting, one of those old platinum things with an old European cut stone in it, and would look at it and then take it over to him just to have him confirm that this was all hand engraved. All the little was done by hand, and all the little things were hand cut. And without failing, every time he'd look at one, he'd say, "Yep. Well, that guy probably only did one, Reg." First time he told me that, I said, "Only did one?" And he said, "Why?" He said, "Well, after he got done with all that work, he went out and hung himself." Okay. He'd say it every time. But a tremendous amount of work. And the same workmanship is available today, only better. There are no rough edges. They didn't sit and file down all those little saw marks before. They just hand cut them. The workmanship and craftsmanship is there today and better than it was then. I don't care what anybody says. People are unwilling. The average person, everyday, middle of the class, middle of the road, are unwilling to pay the price for it today. As Tom Kay used to say, they want flash for cash. And you run across the few out there that are willing to pay for the quality, and they want quality.